There is no Beckhoff trade show without industrial PCs, and there is no Beckhoff trade show without the next step in industrial PC performance. On Monday we had the C4000, which, I have to correct myself there, has a 12 megahertz CPU, and now we are standing in front of our latest, greatest devices with Felix. Good morning, Felix.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining again. A stable guest here, which I am very, very happy about. We want to talk about IPCs, and hybrid processor architectures have been a big topic there. What does that actually mean?
Okay, hybrid architecture actually means that you combine different kinds of core architectures into a single CPU chiplet. So you combine, in many cases, like a few very high performance cores.
Like the classical I-cores.
Exactly right,
say, yeah?
the classical core I-cores, and a bunch of lower performant, let me call them efficient cores, right? And actually that's a big task, sometimes a big issue for us and for our customers, because now you have to distinguish between those different core architectures and all these instruction sets which are different, and the cache architecture which are different actually.
So you have to make sure that the right task is assigned to the right core.
Exactly right. So both the operating system scheduler for the user mode plus the programmer for the application for the control has to consider which thread fits perfectly to which kind of core architecture.
Okay, what does this mean beyond that for our customers?
Yeah, maybe to take a step back, of course there's not only disadvantages, right? So if there's applications where you combine high performance controls with big user mode threads, then you can use those performance cores for your control on, for example, an isolated core with TwinCat 3, with TwinCat Core Boost, also boosting the core frequency and the clock frequency, plus the user mode threads highly parallel on those efficient cores available. But everything gets much easier now, actually, because on this show, first time here in Hannover, we show the Intel Core Series 2, so new generation of core processors without hybrid architecture.
And that's also very, very close to my heart. But but I think sometimes we have very performance-intensive applications. The X-Planar system is one of them. That's why I'm always a big fan of pure performance core architectures where we have as much gigahertz as possible. So we have Intel Series 2 processors, so not generation 14 or 15, but Series 2. What's so special about them?
Yeah, it's exactly right. So I mentioned some advantages, some disadvantages of this hybrid architecture. Of course, there are many applications requiring high single-thread performance on as many cores as possible. And that's exactly the answer for this. So
typical X-Planar use case.
Yeah, typical, exactly. So we have new processor generation integrated in our compact industrial PCs, also in a bunch of ATX-based PCs, covering these Intel Core Series 2 processors, codenamed Bartlett Lake, talking about base frequency of up to 4 gigahertz.
Wow.
Talking about boosted frequencies, also including TwinCat Core Boost functionalities with up more than 5 gigahertz on a single thread. And we talk about maximum of 12 equal cores in these systems.
So a really small device. We talked yesterday with the AX guys, with the motion guys, about the book size design. I think that's also a book size design, but with up to 12 cores with more than 3 gigahertz of single core performance. That's very beautiful. But just to cap it off a little bit, or to cap it to wrap it up a little bit. This is the high end of our C60 portfolio. Let's just for our dear visitors and our dear watchers have a look also at the whole variety. So there is Intel Atom CPUs. There is also here in the middle we have some of those hybrid architectures as well. So it's all about scalability, right?
It's all about scalability, and the message is easy. We can state that we do have a perfect fitting PC for nearly all kinds of application. Also in the future with hybrid architecture, without hybrid architectures, with all these wonderful features in TwinCat, in our BIOS, in our operating systems. Okay. So full scalability and flexibility for our customers.
Thank you so much, Felix. Have a wonderful day with the wonderful, very pretty PC. So we talked about design with the C4000 on Monday, and they are still looking very, very well. So enjoy that. Have a good day.